Mike, I can't get my video to work. I could, if it's important, I'll hand it off to you to be host and I'll just restart my computer if you want. Otherwise, I'll just muddle through in the dark here.
Okay. I think it's fine. If something changes, you can hand it off.
All right.
I'm gonna try to fix it so that we can see.
Ready to go, Mike?
Yeah, we are recording. I'm just gonna try to fix the camera, but I'll do that once you get started. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Clark, so acting chairman of the Willington, Connecticut Economic Development Commission for Monday, February 24th, 6:30 p.m. Calling the meeting to order. We will start off with public participation. Public participation is encouraged. You want to see what everybody has to say?
Sorry, I'm sorry, Matt, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
John Guskowski, can you just cite the other members who are in the room there with you?
Sure. Bill Rankin.
Mike Johansson.
Mike Johansson.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think we had regrets from Cheryl. I believe, right, Mike?
yeah, she said she wouldn't be able to make it.
Right. Oh, public comment?
Unmute, okay.
Did you want to enlarge
I'm Stephanie Summers. Are they talking?
I don't know, Bill. I think I can do it right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's Joan.
Yeah. I think you're good.
Okay, so Matt, you've got Kathy Demers with her hand up.
Yes, and I have, in the room, I have a comment here, so I'll take that first.
Stephanie Summers, 4 Rye Road. Thank you. I'm happy to address you and also happy for the work you're doing with the strategic planning results and the report that you're working on so hard. I believe I don't know exactly when you received the draft report, but I know you've been working on this since January. And what I want to say is, number one, I didn't know you guys were meeting tonight because there was no agenda on file on the town website until this morning. So I was looking for it through the weekend and unable to find it. I also think when you're working on a draft report in the same way that other documents are worked on in town, that this is part of the public process, hearing and understanding what your reactions are and what tweaking is being done and everything else. And I think it would really help with a report of this volume that people be able to see it. I'm sure it's many pages, so it's not something you can kind of come and get a printout of. But certainly people could read the document online, and I think that that would be helpful. And also, I understand there were some glitches on your usual posting of the agenda this time, but it can always be sent out on email. And because we're on a 4-day week, to make the 48-hour notice time ahead, it's really got to be on Thursday, which is the last business day of the week before, if it's a Monday night meeting. So I just want to make you aware of that and say that I'm eager to see what the results are. And it would be a lot easier if maybe we have had the opportunity to look at parts of the report, knowing it's unfinished. But I think the public policy or the public input is strongest along the way, as well as at the finishing point. So, as far as reacting to a final product. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, do you want to issue the agenda?
So the agenda was filed with the town clerk on Thursday. There was an issue for some reason when I tried to post it electronically, I could not get it to do that, and I obviously couldn't be back in the building until today. So the meeting notice requirements were met. It was not online, but it was, this is obviously a regular meeting. So I couldn't fix it until I was physically in the building. I don't really know what happened. The calendar is not maintained by individual departments or commissions. It was maintained by someone who's currently not working in the building.
Okay,
But I have access to that now, so I have gone in and added them, so they'll be there going forward, but that was something that was managed by the webmaster, who's currently not here. So we meet the notice requirements. This is a legal meeting. But yeah, we did have an issue with it.
one of the things in the statute, though, just to respond, according to FOI and Russell Blair there, the other piece of the statute is that it be posted in the town clerk's office during town office hours, which would have meant it would have needed to really qualify, it would really need to be posted at that time.
I think it was posted by 1 p.m.
Do you go through a different process, though?
Well, like, it was posted during business hours on Thursday so I did the agenda, it was sent to Peggy, she went upstairs, recorded it. The boards and both sides are stamped with the town clerk seal that says the time and the date, so it meets all of those criteria.
Okay, because it's the one online doesn't have.
Yeah, so when I spoke to John Tian this afternoon, I explained that the reason we post the links directly online is so that the hyperlinks are maintained for connecting to Zoom. So I posted online, and then we file the scan or whatever, the original copy they take and they stamp. But if I were to scan that in, I wouldn't have the hyperlinks. So that's why the version that's online doesn't have the town clerk stamp, which is the same for at least all the commissions that I do. Because I can't link to the application materials and all the things that we do with these commissions once it's been scanned.
I appreciate your response. Thank you.
No worries.
And let's see, Kathy?
Hi, Kathy Demers, 48 Mason Road. First of all, I'd like to thank the commission for its work. I know this is a large process that you're undertaking to come up with, to work with the consultant to work on the strategic plan. So I appreciate all the work that you're doing. I would like to say that also I really appreciate the time that the consultant, Mr. Bleinberger, spent in terms of talking to many stakeholders in town, as well as putting on the open house at the library. I think all of that was so important for getting good public participation and some pre-draft input. I'm wondering how the commission is going to move forward in terms of additional review, allowing the public to review the draft as well as input to the draft before it is finalized. Thank you.
Thank you. Joan?
Can I speak, Mount? Is that
Yeah, sure.
okay? This is Christine Sothis on Jared Sparks Road. I just wanted to let you folks know that this afternoon I was looking for your meeting minutes from your special meeting on February 10th, and they haven't been posted. And I don't believe that they're with the town clerk's office yet either. State statute indicates that your minutes need to be submitted to the town clerk's office 7 days after your meeting. So I'm really hoping that the EDC, you know, in the future adheres to this requirement. Thank you.
That, Matt, if I can respond to that.
Sure.
Yep.
So this is John Guskowski. I normally do the minutes. I was unable to be at that meeting and needed to listen to the recording. I had a little bit of an audio issue, but I think I've got that resolved. So the minutes should be done shortly. I do apologize for the technical delay there.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Joan?
Matt, what are the three pillars or the three areas that you're looking at to develop in town?
Well, I think Ernie had come up with 10 altogether, and then three
Yeah.
focus areas.
Yeah.
But we
What are those? What are those? Wasn't it narrowed down to three to focus on?
Well, there was 3 development areas with specific plans. One of them was hospitality and hotel. I'd have to look at the report for the other 2.
Life
Okay.
science.
Science and
Life
science.
science.
Life science was another. And,
Movement was the other.
light manufacturing, excuse me,
Light manufacturing.
light manufacturing, I think was the third one.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear it. It was jumbled.
Oh,
I got the
like-
first one was hospitality,
Yes, life science,
lifestyle. Oh, that's good.
yeah. And light manufacturing.
Okay. Okay, I didn't hear that one.
Ernie, do I have that correct? Those are the three focus areas, the three CDs,
Okay.
reception areas?
Okay, I've got life science. It looks, that looks good. You know, I was talking with someone from the zoning, a few days ago, and he had no idea that this study was even going on. So I kind of thought that you are the two commissions or the two groups in town that are going to have to work most closely together to pull any of these off. And so my humble suggestion is that you find a way to either attend each other's meetings or review the minutes or something so that you keep up with each other. I would hate to have them working on something that is going to countermand what you are working on and vice versa. So that's my only comment. But again, thank you for all your work. I really do appreciate all you guys do. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation and help along the way. Mike,
Okay,
you're
you're welcome.
zoning commission.
Correct.
Can you speak to working and keeping them informed?
I mean, everybody on zoning knows that I'm also part of the EDC here, and I've shared some of the cross chatter from things that we've talked about here and with the ideologies of planning and zoning, so I'm not sure who she's referring to in attendance that wouldn't know this was going on, because I haven't been quiet about it, so,
I talked to Mr. Walton many times
yeah.
about our work and what we're doing.
You know,
Okay. Is that Bob?
Yeah. Bob Shabbat, 17 Jared Sparks Road. I guess that point, that statement that Joan made should be a wake-up call. When I've attended numerous town hall meetings, everybody's always asking the same question. How can we get the word out to the general public so that they can better participate in our government? Well, one of the means is you guys have to get on the ball and post your minutes and your agendas when they need to be posted. That's step one in engaging the community. And then you've got to start putting some of this stuff online, even if it's a draft. You know, let everybody know what areas you're working on, what the focus is. Again, over and over again, I laugh when I go to town meetings and people are saying, oh yeah, well, we've got to do this. Everybody in town's been talking about better communications for 20 or 30 years, and you're still talking about it. How about getting on the horse and riding out of the barn? That's all I have to say, you know. And I'm looking forward for this EDC because this is the one half of the plan of conservation and development that has never been seriously addressed. And it's going to complete that plan for the town for the first time, really. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Bob. Other comments? Any other hands raised? I don't see any. Do you see any?
I don't see any others.
Ralph, was that you? No, okay, good. Okay, so the purpose of our meeting today, commission business, is a work session to review and discuss the strategic plan draft document. Ernie is here from Strategy 5 Consulting, who's been working with us consistently on this project through the entire almost year, and who ran the workshop at the library for input. Ernie, thank you very much for putting together this report. It's very, very good. It is comprehensive. It is encompasses encompasses everything that we wanted in there. There's a couple of different little tweaks and changes we'd like to see, a couple little refinements if possible. But I want to thank you for putting together a great effort in leading our workshop at the library, working with us consistently throughout the time. Lots of different, as we said previously in our previous work sessions on this report, we really like the way it went together. So this work session is about finalizing the report. The report is very good. Thank you for a great job. I'd like to start with, if I can, Ernie, we have, if it's possible, I don't know if it's possible. So let me ask you, you're the expert. So there's currently 10 areas that you specify in the report for implementation. And 3 specific areas with plans and documentation and analysis. Is it, do you think that we should focus a little more narrowly, or do you think that this commission can handle and do and move forward on the scope that you've outlined, the 10 areas?
Okay, can you all hear me? I'm not sure if, am I on audio? Yep. So, Mr. Clark and fellow members of the EDC, I am very reluctant to make any comment this evening with regard to the economic development strategic plan or the 85-page, 24,000-word report that has accompanied the planning process, which was submitted to the EDC initial draft on December the 30th, and then another version after some amendments that were provided by or suggested by Mike and John were submitted to the EDC on January the 7th. However, I would like to set the record straight a bit with regard to some of the events that have occurred and not occurred over the last 2 months since the report was submitted, which is part of the reason behind the ball of confusion that we have here this evening. And before I get into that, I was contacted on Thursday afternoon, okay, shortly after receiving your comments, and asked if I would be available to pop in to the EDC meeting on Monday evening. And I replied, yes, I could do that, but it wasn't clear for what purpose. I followed up on Friday to Mike and John and asked the question. I said, what's my purpose? What's this all about? Well, they just want to ask you a few questions and so forth. Well, what has been transpiring over the last couple months has become clear to me over the last few days. And this goes back to the time of providing the report to the EDC. I made a couple of brief but important recommendations about the way the strategic plan needs to be treated, the way the report needs to be handled. And of great importance was how the public outreach and the involvement of the Willington community should be handled, in my professional opinion. I never received the courtesy of a single reply to those set of important recommendations. So time goes by. And so those recommendations basically centered around an immediate opportunity for me to travel to Willington to sit down with you all to discuss the strategic plan as well as the report. And these are two interrelated but different things, okay? There's the report and there's the plan. The report is the plan is the report, but the report's a document that it's like a reference document. The plan itself is a living like organism. It's a living thing that's going to go on for, years to come. And so I wanted the opportunity to talk through this, it's a fairly complex, in-depth economic development strategic plan that touches on a whole bunch of important matters that are of daily concern and importance in the town of Willington. The second part was in my recommendations that I again traveled to, and maybe this could be in the same trip or whatever, but that we would have an opportunity to make a presentation to the public, open to the public, where I would do we'll call it a PowerPoint presentation, okay? That would explain the plan and explain the findings of the report, the economic logic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, while the report was still a draft. Then we take our discussion, we take the input from the public, and then we can create final report that has the buy-in from both, we'll call it the public sector, as well as from the community. These recommendations were ignored. Instead, you have done exactly the opposite. So I feel the need, Mr. Clark, I will respond to your instructions for making significant and I believe untenable changes to the strategic plan itself as well as to the report. And I will address each comment and each point line by line. And I think that's probably about the best way to leave it for this evening. And I'll probably have to I'll probably have my legal counsel take a look at it because this intersects with some contractual matters. That may take a few extra days, but I'll try to get my written response to you as soon as possible. And I'd like to withhold further comment until that time. But I would like to thank the members of the Willington community for all their support during the course of our work over the last year. And it has been a year, a little more now. And I'm very proud of the work that's been done by us collectively. And you have a strategic plan that can provide you with the benefits that you seek and that you require. But it needs to be done in the right way. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you for your input. Mike, were you aware of any of the problems with the process or anything like that? Or?
So the only thing that I will say, since it reflects on apparently my actions, is that I emailed Ernie on February 12th and asked him to attend this meeting. We had some follow-up conversations about the comments because he had concerns. And so this was not a last-minute notification. I thought it was made clear that the intent of let's be clear, we don't have a final draft, right? You have a partial draft. That's what I would call it. There are things that need to be included. And so my communication to Ernie was that it was important that the commission and he had the opportunity to work through the comments so that we didn't end up with presenting a draft to anyone outside of this process, recommending further revisions on top of further revisions on a partial draft, right? We decided that if we were gonna do what we talked about, which was get Board of Finance involved, Planning and Zoning Commission, and have public feedback, that there be a complete draft to review. You don't want to have something missing and have everybody show up to a meeting and say, well, why didn't you include this? Well, the final draft will have that, right? So we wanted to have a complete final draft to roll out to the public. We never stepped away from having a public presentation of some kind. We never stepped away from informing any of the other commissions, and I have been keeping the P and Z informed through my staff reports to them right along, as Mike had mentioned. So when we communicated and had this call with Ernie last week about getting ready for this meeting, I explained that we wanted to make sure that the plan was put together in a way that would allow the commission and the town to make fruitful progress, not have this wholesale reductions, smash and grab, cut everything out and just eviscerate the plan because it was just too complicated or too big for the town to digest or understand. But if you put 100 things on the table, or in this case, I guess we're talking about 10, that if we don't tee it up and it's not put together in the right way, that it would be more challenging for a small group to implement. And that it was more about trying to figure out how to prioritize those things, because our POCD is that way. Most POCDs are. You've got tons and tons and tons of recommendations and not a whole lot of follow through, because where do you start? And so the purpose of this meeting was for you to provide context to your comments, to make the plan more reflective of what you thought was needed to actually land this plane. So I'm a little bit unsure as to how we got to where we are now, and why, we are in this current sort of situation, and members of the public appear to be informed about steps in the process that they feel it was determined were not going to be taken, or decisions having been made that weren't made, because that's not where we are yet. And that's not what I've explained to anybody when they have come into our office. So I am a pretty big question mark as to how I'm sitting here right now.
Yeah, I'm shocked. So we all have put our best effort to communicate well, and to run a process that was very in-depth and bringing good results for the town of Willington. And unfortunately, I guess strategy 5 is not happy with the process. So you have my apology for that. I think the best thing to do now is look at how we move forward. And
I don't understand what we're apologizing for.
well,
I'm sorry, I don't.
Don't look at me.
I just had a discussion like 2 months ago when we were talking about the draft and how we wanted to proceed forward, when he had said, I think you should release this all to the public. And we talked about it a couple months ago. We said, we don't feel it's the best way because there's, again, 85 pages that everybody could go, as Mike Reed said, I want to change this, let's try to get it as far along, then release a draft, and then we can tune it accordingly, but without having to rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah, well, as Mike says, we are where we are, and so I think it's the best way forward is to just have a brief conversation. Ernie, if you'll have a conversation with us, have a brief conversation about just a few topic areas, and then we'll finalize the report. Would that be okay, Ernie?
I don't know. I mean, I really, there's so many important issues, not to mention all of the complexities of the strategic plan itself, but there's so many issues that have arisen. You've apparently had several meetings where the strategic plan has been discussed in a public setting. I was never invited. I mean, that might have been a good idea, just so I could have kind of kept up with the, the progress of the discussions and so forth. Look, I don't mean to be, difficult or anything, but at this stage of the game, I really think as a professional approach or professional matter, I really think I need to respond to the whole thing in writing, and then you can consider those, and I'll address each and every one of your recommended changes to the plan and to the report. And then let's see where we are. And I mean, I won't drag my feet in getting this to you. We're talking about a day's worth of work here at least. So give me a few days and I'll get it to you. And then, and that'll also allow me to, organize and clearly state my positions and my thoughts and my reasons, for, taking the position and the positions that I am. But I can assure you that I have the very best interests of the town of Willington at heart. I've spent a fair amount of time in the last year, not only in Willington, but, working on this project. And I just don't feel like it's getting the
So if I could just ask you, Ernie, do you have any questions? And you're going to respond in writing to each of our points. Do you have any questions for us about what we've asked you to do? And then we'll call it.
You've expressed those to me in writing, and I'll reply in kind. I think that's so. I do not have any further questions for you tonight.
Thank you. We look forward to response to the commission input on the strategic plan. You guys have any other questions or concerns or things you want to talk about with Ernie at all, or with the group?
I have nothing.
I don't know anything. You have anything? So this is unfortunate, but best efforts we try, and sometimes we fall short. So the next step in the strategic planning process for the Economic Development Commission will be strategy 5 will submit written responses to our questions. And then the commission will review those and finalize the strategic plan and a way forward for the town of Willington economic development. I want to say again that in my opinion, this report that was put together was very good and very well done. And it's unfortunate that we have this problem. So
I agree.
I know I said to you, Ernie, that the report was very well done.
I appreciate that.
Mike is in agreement.
Yeah.
We simply wanted to refine, no, not even refine. We wanted to add a little content on the summary. That was our only intent. Enough said.
I don't, Bill, Mr. Rankin, just for the record, I don't have any issues with the comments that you provided in writing. So, but I will cover each of those in detail as well, and I appreciate your input.
okay, so the next thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from February 10th.
So John had mentioned we had.
Yeah,
audio
right. I apologize. I had an audio problem with the recording, and I'll get those minutes as soon as possible.
Okay, public participation.
Matt, could I just ask you, Steph Summers, do you think you could just share your timeline with folks about what your hope is for your editing process, your revision
This is done
process?
very quickly. So by next month, we should have a final report, and the commission will discuss dissemination to the public, which commissions and boards we want to go to when, and then also to the general public as well.
So the idea is there'll be a series of presentations before the town boards and then the general public would come after that, or they can
That's the thought.
be a part of those presentations, of course, because those are all public meetings,
Yeah,
but,
that's the thought, yeah.
and so do you have a sort of a back of mind or a front of mind launch date for the whole thing?
No,
No.
Okay.
We're
No, I'm just
no,
asking
you-
because I just didn't know. I'm not,
we're not elementary here, okay?
Right.
We're three guys with four,
three guys in a computer. Yeah.
Carol and Sam and Mike, and we're 5 or 6 people. Brought on some council and Ernie with funds that we were able to get to develop a plan, an economic development plan in a town that's 25,000 acres, or basis 64 and on 84. I'm a little perturbed here, all right? I'm a little perturbed because the plan itself is challenging to us. It's very, I'll use the terminology, it's in the sky.
All encompassing.
We gotta figure out a way to bring business into this town because we need tax revenue,
I got it.
all right?
Mhm.
And we're trying to come up with an idea on how to do that and maintain the town that we love. So we're getting a little lost in calendars and a little lost in notifications because this is all new to us. And that's, that. So there's no launch date.
Okay.
We're trying to get something that we feel will get the mobility and the interest and the unity from the stakeholders and the residents of this town, identifying that we need something like this. But forgive us if we're a little elementary, because we're all volunteers and this is all new to us.
But I'll just say this. This is precisely why I requested and recommended the opportunity and give you guys enough time to read the report and then let me come and talk with you to communicate. Let's talk about these. It's all in the plan. It's all in the report. Low level, mid-level, high level, left, right, up, down. It's holistic. I know you all hate that word, but it is. It's if you don't like holistic, let's call it comprehensive. It's a comprehensive, diversified portfolio of economic development projects that can be undertaken over a period of years. And so, but I was not given, I was not given the opportunity, and you did not take the opportunity to discuss the economic development strategic plan with the author of the plan, but also, again,
Ernie, you're here
we
now.
need to bring the community into the loop. I'm not going to say anymore. I appreciate your all's time. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Ernie.
I
Thank you,
will
Ernie.
I will put it into a letter form response, and we'll look forward to getting this wrapped up, and we can move on with our lives.
And Ralph, you had your hand raised?
I'm sorry.
I do. I just want you all to be aware that there are at least 5 large parcels on the market or could easily be on the market. 3 on Route 32, 86 acres, 100 acres, 57 acres. 2 on Ruby Road. One is 58 acres. The other's 314 acres. Now, if we don't have an easy way to get to a revenue beneficial development, they will ultimately become subdivisions. And as anyone who knows anything about town financial matters, subdivisions are not beneficial when it comes to overall tax revenue. So I would hope that between this group and the planning commission, and I intentionally left out the word zoning, because I think very often the members of that commission can't seem to separate planning from zoning. I think there's a few members that understand that difference, but it's too easy for it to get blurred together. But the point is, these parcels are on the market or could be on the market. And if we don't do anything, we're going to start losing the large parcels that are going to be beneficial to the town of Willington in the big picture. And that's all I have to say, because I have to duck out for another land use meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for attending, Ralph. I appreciate your comment.
Thank you, Ralph.
Christina?
Hi, Christina Milos, 46 Hall Hill Road. As the chairman of the ARPA Commission, who I voted for the funding for this project, and I was really excited about it happening. I think it's something we've needed for years, and was really hopeful that it was going to be something that was going to be very useful to everyone to move us forward, because we desperately need to. I'm just really disappointed to find out that this is how things are going. We hired a consultant, and we should listen to the consultant. That's what we're paying him for. He's an expert on this. He's worked with multiple towns doing things like this. If I don't know I don't know the details of this, of like what he was recommending, of what should happen, but I do know that you have not reached out to the public at all. In any concerted, organized way. There has been nothing on email, town email, which you have at your disposal. You can just send out an email to tell people to come to the meetings, or to give input here, or to do whatever. I haven't seen anything on Facebook about it, or social media in general. I don't see a special anything. I don't, and I'm on the Board of Finance. I haven't heard a thing there about this. So I just want everyone, I know you're all volunteers. I'm a volunteer as well. And I know it's hard to find the time to do these things, but if we're going to take this seriously, and we're paying a lot of money, and it's not free money, it's money that we didn't use to fund other projects. It's an investment in our town, and we need to take this seriously and get it done. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Christina. Kathy?
Yeah, I just want to say, Kathy Demers, 48 Mason, I just want to say that, I agree with Christina that it's so important that we take every opportunity to try to engage the public at every stage along the way. And I understand completely, because I'm chair of conservation. You want to make sure all your ducks are in a row and everything before you present to the public. But I think that the more we can engage the public and let them know what's going on at every step of the way, the more buy-in you will get at the end. Because if you bring what you call the final draft, for example, of the strategic plan in front of people, sometimes they already feel like the deal is sealed. They feel like they really haven't had a lot of opportunity. Maybe some people participated as stakeholders, or they went to the workshop at the library, but a lot of people didn't. So any opportunity we have for people to peek at the process, see what's going on, at least understand, what's in progress, you're going to get more buy-in in the end. We all want to succeed, and we all want the EDC to succeed. Believe me, I don't think anybody here today is trying to reprimand anybody or say you're not doing a good job, because I think you're doing a very good job. You're volunteers, and I understand what that's like too, but use whatever resources we have at the town level. Talk to the Board of Selectmen. How do we get this information out to the public on a regular basis? Thank you.
Kathy? Any other comments from the?
Matt, could I just finish what my comment was, because Ernie kind of jumped in,
Yeah.
because I've been a part of the process too, but at the library and being interviewed by Ernie. And I'm really interested in this, and I know that from being on Board of Finance and everything else that you know, this is something the town struggled with forever. And so there's a lot of hopes pinned on this process and you guys. And I don't want you all to feel like, you know, I was looking forward to hearing what kinds of comments you had tonight. So I'm sorry you kind of clipped that off because I'd love to hear what some of the concerns were. But aside from that, I would just urge you not to fear the draft. I've been in publishing a long time. The draft is never perfect for a process of any kind. And, you know, put the big indicia on it that says draft and post it, because I think people really want to see what's in it. If you turn in something that's already excised, they're gonna wonder what got cut.
Okay.
You know, it's just, that's my advice, but you don't have to listen to me. I'm just a member of the public here, so thanks.
Thank you. I don't have any other comments. You guys have any other comments over here?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. I'll second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Nope. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you.